Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. Saturday evening, afternoon here in England. Thought it's a good time to preview tomorrow's match, Inter's match tomorrow against the Cagliari at the San Siro. Obviously, it's the return leg of Inter Cagliari. Last time we beat them 3-1 away at Cagliari. It wasn't an easy match, was it, that time? It's gonna let a few people come into the stream and see how many people we can get. But yeah, how are you guys doing, man? How are you guys feeling for this match? Let yourself be known in the comment section so I know who's watching, who's interacting. And obviously we'll do predicted lineups and we'll talk through the lineups and see what's going on in terms of latest news, injury news. Conte had his press conference today, so we'll go through that. And obviously AC Milan are playing right now against Parma, so let's keep an eye out for what's going on with the cousins. Obviously, keep a little close eye, even though they're 11 points away. You still gotta keep a close eye on them. Now I've finally actually seen the proper calculation of what Inter need. So Inter now, from the last 9 games, we need 16 points. So we need 5 wins and 1 draw to mathematically secure the Scudetto, or Scuduto, as Christian Eriksen put it. Very, very doable, honestly. 5 wins, 1 draw. The remaining, the big matches left now: Napoli, Roma, Juventus. Those are the big teams that we've got left to play. And then everyone else is definitely very doable. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Who else is in here? Who we got? We've got got Balen 990. Got Milan losing tonight. Forza Inter. Yeah, seen Ante Rebic just scored, right? Not very good defending from Parma. Not that I expected much from Parma, honestly. We've played Parma. They're not particularly a great team this year. They've been struggling so much, so no surprise that even someone who's been out of form, very injury prone this season, Rebic, comes back and scores straight away against them. But they're fighting for their lives. They have to win, if they want to stay up. So you never know. In the second half, we've seen they've got some pace on the counter-attack this season. We've seen Dennis Mann, we saw Gervinho, Mihaila. There's the two Romanian guys, the ball, Graziano Pelle. They've spent money in Parma. That's the funny thing. It's not like other kind of relegation candidates who weren't able to spend money. These guys, these new American owners came in. They've been spending money, maybe not in the right way or in an efficient way, but they've been splashing the money and it's not making much difference. It'll be sad to see a team like Parma go down, to be honest. Is a team Parma, I associate Parma with the Serie A. They're a classic Serie A team. When you think about Serie A over the years, think about the players they've had over the years. Parma, we've talked about this with Mo in the past on a live stream. Lilian Thuram, Buffon, Crespo, Chiesa. These guys used to have absolute ballers on their team. Even a few years ago when they had Cassano, Biabiani, that team was a fun team to watch. So it'd be sad to see a team like Parma go down. They've got some interesting talents on their team as well, which could be up for grabs for other teams. The likes of that Dennis Mann, Kuchka, definitely a Serie A material if he goes down. Jasmine Kurtic is definitely Serie A material. I think Graziano Pelle should be able to get a Serie A team if he goes down. They've got some decent players. Sepe, their keeper's not too bad. He's a Serie A quality keeper. But apart from that, Hernani is a good player. But apart from that, they're really lacking, especially the defensive half. They lack some proper quality. Who else we got in here? It's about time we fixed our left wing back issue. Yeah. Obviously, that's one of the main priorities for this summer. Let's get these 3 points. Yeah, man. Let's Milan have a good away record too. Expected to win. Yeah. That's a very good point there, Palm. Milan's record this year is so funny. At home, it's a complete contrast to their away form. I think they've actually got. I think alongside Inter, they've got the best away form in the whole league. But at home, it just seems like they seem to have some sort of mental block, or the way teams play against them. When you play away at the San Siro, teams do tend to sit back a little bit more, and probably Milan struggle against those types of teams. But anyway, enough about Parma and Milan. We'll see if Parma can do us a favor. Let's get into this Inter versus Cagliari preview. Let me share my screen with you guys so we can look at the predicted lineups. Obviously, it's always interesting to see. These days, I'm using these Sport Media set a little bit more because it seems like they're a bit more accurate, and they always seem to have, they have some decent graphics, so it always looks good on the video. Start off with Inter, obviously, Handanovic in goal. Our proper defense returns, no chopping and changing. Bastoni's suspension is over now, so Bastoni is returning alongside De Vrij and Skriniar, of course. Then Brozovic in midfield also returning. We saw against Sassuolo that you can see Brozovic. He's a opinion splitting player in our fan base. Marcelo Brozovic, the crocodile. But when he is not there, I feel like you do notice the difference without him. Obviously, Eriksen did the job in his absence, and we didn't have much of the ball anyway. So I don't think Brozovic would have made much of a difference. But you just, in terms of the running and the tackling and the interception, you feel that difference compared to Eriksen. Obviously, isn't that his natural role? The starting midfield is rumored to be Brozovic, Eriksen, Gagliardini. Happy with the Brozovic and Eriksen. Obviously, we know Gagliardini. It's just, I've said I expect Gagliardini to be starting, especially now without Barella, as I've put in the scroller below. This is the first time Inter have played without Barella this season in the Serie A. He's the outfield player with the most minutes. After Handanovic, he's the player with the most minutes. He started every single match this season in Serie A. So this is the first time that Conte will be without his trusted soldier, Nicolo Barella. Last season Barella was, he was a starter, but still you could have, he wasn't such a, overwhelming favorite to be, the first team name on the team sheet. There was a period at the beginning where he was, in and out of the team, and then he became, certain starter. Then he had that injury, and then he took a little bit of time to get back into the team. But this season, as we know, clearly he's up there in terms of Serie A Player of the Year, Inter Player of the Year. Some people are even saying, best midfielder in Europe. Jurgen Klinsmann said that recently. I wouldn't go maybe as far as that, but definitely in Serie A, Barella is been one of the best, undoubtedly. So it'll be interesting to see how we cope without him, because we haven't seen a team we haven't seen many lineups without Barella this season. I think only the Coppa Italia against Fiorentina, we probably saw, we were without Barella, and I think Vidal, Gagliardini, Eriksen played in that first, against the Fiorentina. So that's probably the only time we've seen a Barella-less Inter. So it'll be interesting to see. But you guys know my preference will always be towards more technical players. I would rather see, Stefano Sensi. I felt like Sensi had a really good impact in the last match. I don't know what you guys think. We talked about it in the post-match stream. He made 7 out of 7 ground duels, won. He made 2 tackles. His passing was good as well. I felt like you could see he was integrating in the team again. He was fit again. He wasn't, pulling out tackles. Actually, he was probably more physical than Gagliardini was when he came on. But as I said, Conte clearly has hierarchies in this team. And at the moment, after Barella, when Vidal is fit, usually he's, just after that. But Gagliardini is his trusted guy. He's a loyal person, Conte. He's not going to put Gagliardini out of the team just because other guys are fit. Now he's going to respect until Gagliardini messes up, gets a red card or does something stupid, concedes a mistake that leads to a goal. He's going to keep his place in the team. And rightfully so. There's no need to change anything until the end of the season. We've got 10 wins in a row. It means that, there's nothing wrong with Gagliardini. It's just that obviously us, as aesthetically, Gagliardini is not the most pleasing player to watch. Sensi is definitely one of the best technical players in the whole league, obviously depending on his injury issues. But also there was rumors in that right centre mid position that maybe Mattias Vecino could be preferred. The Italian media was saying that maybe Vecino is rumored to be preferred to Gagliardini, which I don't really see that being accurate. I think it was the Gazzetta or the Corriere, one of them was reporting that. But as I said, I don't think Conte will mess up the hierarchies now for a Vecino who needs playing time. But it's probably, I don't think Conte will risk starting someone like Vecino, who's been out for so long in an important match like this. Every match is so important now just to continue going. But honestly, personally, I would like to see Vecino or Sensi starting just to give them, some minutes, see where they are. And, you can make a decision whether, you need to sell them in the summer. You can see where they are in terms of their fitness or how they fit into this team. But as always, happy with Gagliardini continuing in his position. Let's get some of your comments in. Darmian, we're young at left wing back. Yeah, let's a few predicted lineups, I think, have Ashley Young starting, but this is going to be the third match in a row for Ashley Young starting due to Perisic's injury. He's 35 now. I think Darmian, he did well at left centre back the other match, the last match. So I would honestly prefer Darmian. Not that Ashley Young doesn't deserve it, just to give him a rest, and just I feel like he wouldn't be at his 100% now. Now that we had a midweek round, so I would rather see someone maybe a bit fresher like Darmian getting a start, and then Young can always come on in the second half because Perisic is still got a little bit of an injury, so they don't want to risk him. So honestly, I would rather see Matteo Darmian, Matty Doms getting the start over Ashley Young. I don't know what you guys make of that. Juventus and Atalanta, real opponents, not AC Milan. All of them lose more scores than Inter. Yeah, I've always said, Juventus are the ones, I think by the end of the season, we'll see Juventus will be the ones that will finish second. Atalanta as well, I predicted them to finish third, I believe, in my when the season started. So I think they are going to finish around there. But this Milan team, you got to give them credit. I know it's just on paper, they just don't look that good, but they just keep getting these results. Today, if they win against Parma, they still retain. Pioli is really works some black magic with this team, because that team should not be where it is right now. But yeah, as you said, the ones in theory, the ones to watch out should be Juventus and Atalanta. But as long as AC Milan remain second, they are the closest challengers, and that's just the facts. There's nothing we can do about that. The win is most important, Julian says. However, we play a bit better and more exciting than the last few games. Yeah, let's get into that. that's been an interesting topic over the last few days. We've seen IFTV, Italian newspapers, everyone just kind of hopping on this bandwagon about ugly football into playing, disgusting football. This is anti-football, catenaccio, and it's just ridiculous. People are making out as if this is the Conte's doing something different that no one's ever done. This is it's quite a subjective thing. What is beautiful football? If you think that what Sassuolo do, which is keep the ball and not really have much penetration and not really create many chances, sterile possession, that's not beautiful football to me. Beautiful football to me is something that creates as high scoring, is good to watch, and it's up to you. If you find Inter's football is not good to watch, then it's not. It's up to you. This is the beauty of sport and life. You have your own opinions on things, but to me, this is not an ugly team to watch. I quite enjoy Inter. Sitting deep, absorbing pressure, and then when we do counterattack, when we do create those attacking phases, they're so good to watch. That first goal against Sassuolo. You tell me if that's not a nice play, a nice combination play. The way Inter combine, play out from the back, and the switch from Lautaro to Young, and then Young putting it into Lukaku. That's beautiful football to me. That's lovely attacking transition to me. There's many examples from this season where we played some really nice transitional attacking, counter-attacking football. And the beauty of football to me is the fact that people play in different ways. If everyone plays the exact same way, that's not good to me. That's the beauty of Serie A to me. You have teams like Sassuolo, who and Spezia, these teams that have come up from in the supposed to be lower teams, but they still play attacking football. But then you have teams like Benevento, these teams that will just sit back and counter-attack you and punish you. That's the beauty of football for me. You have teams like Leeds in the Premier League. You have Burnley. That's basic 4-4-2 Brexit football. I like these kind of contrasts in football. And Inter played an attacking brand of football at the start of the season when we were creating so many chances, creating a high XG, high amount of chances, but also conceding a lot of chances to the other team. But the results weren't coming, so our fans weren't happy, first of all, most importantly. And then opposing fans were saying that, Inter, no one cared then about Inter's style of play. Everyone was like, Conte sucks, and this team, 100 million, 200 million spent, they suck. So you can never make opposing fans happy. But I see Inter fans at the moment. This is what I like about our fan base. We appreciate different styles of play. When Conte was trying to play this attacking football, we were like, okay, Conte, let's maybe go back to something a bit more defensive, a little bit more balanced. Not even defensive, just a bit more balanced. The key word with Inter at the start of the season was balance. The balance was missing, and Conte even said that. I mean, many press conferences recently. All he did was restore a bit of balance. The team now knows when to press high. Against Sassuolo, we didn't even try, but that's fine. At least as long as the team knows when to press, who to press, how intensely to press. This team is so well oiled now. We can go through different phases in the match. You watch them maybe in the first 10, 15 minutes, like against Genoa, if you remember, when we beat them, was it 4-0? We were pressing really high in that match. But then a few matches, depending on the opponent, against Atalanta, we drop a little bit deeper. It's fine. It's just, that's also dominating play. Like when you make the opponent do what you want them to do, that's also domination. And Mourinho used to be a big proponent of that. Having possession doesn't mean you're dominating the play. You're dominating possession, but you're not dominating the actual game. And that's what Inter are doing. We're guiding the other team to where they want. When we go back to the 5-3-2 deep block, sometimes even 5-4-1, when Lautaro drops back, against Bologna, it was basically a 5-4-1. Lautaro was basically a left mid. We're making the team play as we want them to play, giving them little space between our lines, and then hitting them on the counter. And then obviously, I had that one stat that I posted on my Twitter. Let me just get it up, which was very interesting, which kind of goes against the whole notion that Inter are just a sit deep counter-attack type of team. It showed that Inter actually, maybe only recently, have really started to do that, because when you look at on a scale of what Inter have been doing the whole season, it's actually the complete opposite of that. Here it is. Let me just share my screen with you guys. Let me zoom in. So this stat from InStat in Italy shows, so durata degli attacchi con gol, so it shows the length of time of attacks leading to goals. And Atalanta first with 41 seconds on average their attacks take, but Inter a second, just 2 seconds or 1 second behind, with the average of 39.9, or let's say 40 seconds per attack, the length of time. That means that Inter's attack are not just quick lumps of ball up to Lukaku or something that they're just lucky or whatever, just hope and hit and hope. They're usually methodical, a little bit longer style of play. And you see Benevento right at the bottom, 8 seconds on average. Cagliari, who we play tomorrow, just lump up the ball to Simeone or João Pedro and hope for the best. And this media dei passaggi negli attacchi, so the average passes per goal in the attack. So Inter have the highest. So Inter have the most passes per attack when they score. So 13 passes per goal. So it shows that Inter not just a counter-attacking team. And again, you see Cagliari there per 3.4 per goal. we're playing one of the peak counter-attacking teams of the Serie A season. So yeah, that goes against the notion of what everyone is trying to spread at the moment. Yes, Inter recently gone back to a bit more disciplined style of play, but it doesn't mean that Inter play ugly football. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hakimi needs a good match. Yeah, spot on. Gagliardini's side is not going to happen. Yeah, I don't see that combination really playing well. Skriniar, Gagliardini, Hakimi on that side. Rhymes that, Gagliardini, Hakimi. Yeah, it's not the most technical right-hand side we've had this season. And yeah, Gagliardini and Hakimi will probably need to build up a bit of a partnership like Barella and Hakimi have over this season. Now Biggie says, yeah, I'd rather see Vecino than Gagliardini. As you guys know, I've always been a slightly more. I've always said, I don't really see too much difference between them, but I've always been slightly preferential towards Vecino than Gagliardini. I've always felt like his box-to-box ability, he's got longer levers, a bit more. He's a bit quicker. He's got a bit more, better movement in the box in general. Vecino, I do like that a bit more about him. So I would like, I like what I saw from Vecino when he came on against Sassuolo in the match as well. Thoughts on the news that Brozovic also sacked his agent after 10 years? Yeah, so none of these have been confirmed yet, to be honest. Even the Lautaro thing, Lautaro sacking his agent to negotiate himself, these have just been reports that haven't been confirmed yet. But if it is true, then once again, guys, what can we say? This is a true show of love and affection to the shirt. Like, these guys are putting their actions first, not just. A lot of players will say, oh, I love Inter, I love the shirt, I play for the shirt, I love the fans. But these guys are actually showing it by, these actions, firing your agent because of whatever reason that we're not sure. But usually if you fire an agent, it must be something, like the agent's trying to get more of a fee, or he's trying to, prolong the negotiations, he's stalling the negotiations. As we saw with Skriniar, what a move, what a show of morals by the players. And Brozovic, once again, if Lautaro and Brozovic also do this, it just shows how much these players, how much of a close-knit team this Antonio Conte, Marotta, and everyone has managed to build, that it means so much to them that they don't care whether they have to go into the boardroom to negotiate, these kind of things that then they have no clue about, but they're willing to just go in there, do it themselves, just to secure the contract, secure their stay at Inter. And of course, it is a we're in a pandemic as well. Economically speaking, it probably makes sense for them as well, just to make sure that everything's sorted, rather than having a dark cloud looming over them, rumors starting to circulate. It's probably the best move for them as well. So much, if it's true, I'll wait till the confirmation is out there. But if it's true that Lautaro and Brozovic are doing this, then it shows so much, man. Like it brings the respect to these players so high. Over the years, I've seen people, and quite rightly, people are kind of getting a little bit, not disenchanted, but like, the attachment to singular players nowadays is kind of growing less and less. In the past, people used to be really attached to certain players, the Zanetti, the Maldinis, the Tottis, these kind of one club man who would, sign the contract. You just put a blank piece of paper on them and they would sign it. But what you see nowadays, with agents coming into play, media, money, more and more money, football becoming a business, you see less and less of this. And, these Inter players, if they do this, it brings that love, that old school love for footballers back to me. Like, it reminds me of, what old school footballers would do. The likes of, Zanetti or Cambiasso, these are the types of moves I can imagine those types of old school players doing for Inter, Bergomi, Facchetti, these absolute legends for Inter who would, drop anything, would refuse any offer to play for the black and blue of Inter. So amazing if it is confirmed. The best Pioli could do is fourth place. I don't see Milan finishing higher. I mean, they're still second, bro. That's the thing. We can keep saying it. Pioli in the past has proven that at some point everything does collapse in on themselves. Pioli teams at Lazio, he showed that. Inter, he showed that. Fiorentina, he showed that. But Milan, he's building. This season, you just have to give credit. I'm gonna struggle to see past Pioli. In terms of coach of the year, Pioli, Juric, Gasperini, Italiano, Conte. These guys are definitely shoo-ins for coach of the year. I know as Interisti, obviously we don't like to see Milan doing too well, but Pioli's work this season, man, it's just been outstanding to me. I just struggle not to give him credit. 5 wins and a draw without considering the results of the other team. It depends on the other team's true, but mathematically, from what I see at the moment, yeah, 5 wins and a draw, and then we'll see. It's very unlikely that Milan and Juventus will win every single match until the end of the season, but let's go with what mathematically is needed for now. 5 wins and a draw, which is actually very doable as well, so it's not too far-fetched either. I love it, scoring one goal and let the other team kill themselves. Yeah, exactly. I guess this is going back to the point I was making earlier about the style of play. It's you do what's needed to be done. There's no need for Inter to go out and kill themselves and try to expose themselves to. If you expose yourself to Sassuolo, they will punish you. You've seen if you leave Boga 1v1 against Skriniar or Hakimi, in an open space, you're asking for trouble. So you just have to be. You have to think about these things. This is not. We weren't doing catenaccio. Just that Sassuolo were keeping a lot of sterile possession, and we were like, fine, keep it then. if you don't want to try create anything, then you can just keep it. Ruslan Malinovsky, straight from Bergamo, coming in. If you lose the Scudetto, it will be the biggest bottle job of the century. Oops, sorry, 1 second. Let me just sort that out. I don't know why he always does that. There we go. Yes, Ruslan, it would be the biggest bottle job of the century. And there's I can't argue that. That would be Spurs level, whoever's considered to be the biggest bottlers in football. This is bigger than that. But Antonio Conte won't let this happen. I can assure you that. Ooh, Sempre Inter TV in the house. Inter scored 68 goals. Yeah, guys, that's a good point. 68 goals. We're literally only, I think, is it Bayern Munich scored more than Inter in the league? Is that boring football to you? 68 goals in 29 matches, and the average goals per game is absolutely crazy. That is not boring football. It's just that recently we've kind of a little bit, we've been a little bit more balanced and a bit more deeper. But throughout this season, this team has been a free scoring team. Last year we beat Inter's goal scoring record. I think it was, what was it a record that's been standing for over 50 years in terms of Serie A goal record. And this year, we're on track to meet that or even beat it. Last year Atalanta were the top scoring team, but this year Inter looking like they're going to finish as a top scoring team in Serie A. So that is not a boring team. Facts back it up. Your eyes, if you watch football, they back it up. Only if you look at the stat from a singular match and you see, Inter had 29% possession and Sassuolo had 69% or whatever, then you can only then people that only look at screenshots from a Sofa Score or the Google search, those are the only people that criticize. But if you watch Inter, you know that this is not a boring team. Milan fans talking about us playing ugly football. How ugly was our second goal against Milan? Exactly. Milan fans out of all should know about us not being boring. Another good point from Sempre Inter TV. No one said anything when Allegri played pragmatic football. Yeah, I mean Allegri was playing the what's his name? The guy that's playing for Udinese now, Pereira. He was playing him as a CAM in a 4-3-1-2. It's crazy. Allegri's football at times was so stale, and just they literally would go out and play with Matuidi in midfield of Khedira, Matuidi, and Pjanic is hardly the most creative midfield in the world, and they would just get the job done. So ignore these kind of I would ignore this kind of propaganda from opposing fans, the likes of IFTV or Italian newspapers. It's just too simplistic. If you watch football, if you know football, this is not boring or ugly football to me anyway. The best matches of this season I'm against was Milan against Juve. Yeah, I would have to say, especially the Juve match. I mean, the Milan match was perfect. The 3-0 was just, everything just came together so perfectly. Every single player gave a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 performance. Lukaku was, 10 out of 10. But the Juve one was a turning point of, finally beating Juve. It was, Barella, Bastoni, those young Italian players coming through, showing the world who they really are. Everyone took notice of Barella that day. Everyone took notice of Bastoni that day. Chiellini versus Lukaku was an amazing battle to watch. It was those in the big matches, and that was the criticism of Conte in the past season, wasn't it? It was the big matches that Inter weren't turning up in the big matches. But this season, the big matches, we've got all the results. Obviously, the Coppa Italia, it didn't quite work out, but every other big match, the Roma one, we got a draw, yes, but every other big match this season, we've got, obviously, apart from Europe, but we got the results that were needed in every big match this year. Lorenzo Coraggi, what's up, bro? Appreciate the love. But yeah, let me go back to IFTV, lol. I was supposed to actually have Peter from IFTV on today, but I wasn't quite able to have him. You know, Peter's one of the, definitely, you know, he's an Inter fan, but I feel like he's one of the more balanced guys on that, or impartial guys on that, or, you know, a bit more rational on the IFTV panel. He was supposed to come on today with me, but maybe I'll get him on in the future. Hope to have him on in the future. Gerald in the house as well. What's up, bro? Let me share the screen again with you guys so we can finish off with the Inter Cagliari preview. Yeah, so we covered off the midfield. As we said, Hakimi, we were expecting something from Hakimi. You know, he's a young player, nothing to panic about, 22 years old. He's just having a dip in form. I want to see a little bit more from him, though, in this match. You know, you can only go so many matches. But let's not forget, he's still the third highest scorer in this team. Let me just pull up so you see Lukaku is our top scorer, 21, then Martinez 15, and Hakimi still, you know, is the sixth highest. He's the third highest top scorer with 6. So, you know, put some respect on Hakimi's season. He still had a good season, Hakimi, first season in Serie A, and I think he has 4 assists as well. So he's the 4th highest assister after Sanchez, Brozovic, and Lukaku. So put some respect on Ashraf Hakimi. But, you know, as I said, I'm expecting, you know, Liko Giannis, he will be facing on the left-hand side. He's been very mistake prone this year. I've watched him. He's received a few yellow cards, red cards, shaky defensively. So Hakimi, you know, if he's given space 1v1, I want to see him trying to take on and burn Liko Giannis 1v1. So I'm expecting some improvements from Hakimi. Up front, Lautaro and Lukaku once again. But as I said in my previous one, you know, obviously Lautaro performed really well against Sassuolo. But I would like to see Alexis get a chance, because this guy has been, you know, just raring to go. You see him when he comes on with so much energy and eagerness and quality. Obviously, he missed that 1v1 against Sassuolo, which, you know, we're going to forgive him for. But it's just so hard for Conte, isn't it, to bench anyone of, well, Lukaku's never going to be benched, but Martinez is the guy, and it's so hard for Conte to bench him. So it will be Lautaro once again, but I would like to see Alexis being given a chance, to be honest. And then let's move on to Cagliari. João Pedro, the top scorer, obviously the guy to watch out for. You know, a guy who, you know, I could see fitting in Antonio Conte's system. You know, he's a proper second striker. You know, he's a guy who, you know, used to be like an attacking midfielder who's moved on to being more of a striker now. He's done 2 seasons in a row now, I believe, scoring 15 plus goals. So shouts out to him. And yeah, he's definitely a threat to watch out in behind, linking up with Pavoletti, who's supposed to be preferred to Giovanni Simeone. You know, some people wanted Simeone to be the Icardi replacement. I'm not going to say any names, but, you know, Pavoletti obviously are much more of a physical threat compared to Simeone. You know, big striker, old school number 9, who's going to be winning headers and causing all sort of ruckus if there's any aerial balls in there. But most importantly, that midfield it's a good midfield. You know, Cagliari shouldn't be where they are. You know, they shouldn't be fighting for relegation. They should be comfortably mid-table with that midfield. And obviously, we can't end this conversation without talking about this alcoholic smoker here, Radja Nainggolan, the Indonesian baller who, well, it just never worked out, did it? It just never worked out. But against Inter, you know how it is, guys. The deal, the ex-Inter players, he scored the last time Cagliari came to San Siro against Inter. Nainggolan scored off that deflected shot, or came off Bastoni. You just know Radja Nainggolan on the edge of the box, whether he's when he was 20 or when he's now, you know, declining as a 32-year-old, that shot is always going to remain. He's always going to have that crazy ability to shoot from outside the box. So you always have to watch out for that. And he always seems to turn up against Inter. You know, even when he was at Roma, he always used to ball out against Inter. So, and Conte even said, you know, we need to watch out for him because he scored against us last time. So Nainggolan, man. I used to love this guy. And I always, I think he still, if we look at best players of the decade for Serie A, if you make a team of the decade for Serie A, Nainggolan is probably going to be in there. Maybe not, a certain starter, but he's going to be in that midfield of, best midfielders of the decade in Serie A of the 2010s, alongside, the likes of Hamsik, Pjanic, De Rossi, these types of midfielders. This guy, whether he didn't win a trophy or anything, but this guy was, a consistently good player for Roma and Cagliari for the best part of a decade. And, he's still, that 1 year with Spalletti, it was marred with injuries and, off-field drama, but he still got the job done. He still scored the goal that in the end took Inter to the Champions League group stage. So, yeah, he just never quite worked out as it was, but as you know, you win some, you lose some. That's how the world works. And then the other ex-player, obviously, Diego Godin, the sheriff, as they call him. Another one that, I feel like Interisti a little disrespected him a little bit because, again, if you look back in La Liga terms, this guy was, if not the best, definitely in the top 3 best centre-backs of La Liga of the past decade. You ask Atletico Madrid fans, you ask any La Liga fan, this guy was up there with the likes of Ramos, Piqué, for the last decade of like best centre-backs of La Liga in terms of consistency, trophies won with Atletico, leadership qualities with Uruguay as well. It didn't quite work out with him. Inter, obviously, he wasn't expecting to be in part of a 3 centre-back formation, and obviously he would have preferred to be where he's supposed to be starting here, in the middle of the 3, as I've said in the past. All of Inter centre-backs, apart from Bastoni, who was perfect in the left centre-back position, but Skriniar, De Vrij, and Godin, they would have all loved to play that De Vrij position because that's the most protected position where, you get the protection from the other 2 centre-backs. You have a little bit more freedom with the ball as well. That's why, David Luiz used to ball out back with Conte as well. And Ranocchia even looks like a very good player now under Conte because he gets so much protection in that position. But, we've seen Godin has, declined. Rugani, Walukovic, or whether it is someone else playing in that position, whether it's Ragnar Klavan instead of Walukovic playing, that's a susceptible back line that, we can get at. And also, importantly, no Cragno, who's the starting goalkeeper. Obviously, he made some great saves against Inter in general. He's a great goalkeeper, so that will be a great chance for Inter to try to test Vicario, from range, from free kicks. Try to test him because obviously he's not had much game time recently. Try to test him. And Nandes as well, Nahitan Nandes, I really like him. I think he's very much a Conte material type of player. I would like to see if Cagliari do get relegated, maybe if Nainggolan, Cagliari seems to be the only team that wants Nainggolan. If we can work some sort of deal for Nandes, because if we sell, the likes of Vecino or, Vidal, someone's offloaded Nandes, I feel like he's a perfect player, but he shouldn't be playing right wing back. Someone needs to save him, even if it's not Inter. This guy is not a right wing back. He should be one of the midfielders. He's a box-to-box combative midfielder. He shouldn't be playing that position. But yeah, apart from that, this Cagliari team we've seen is very, very beatable. They've also got Quadro Asamoah. Let's not forget this guy seemed like he had disappeared off the face of the earth last season when he left Inter on a his contract expired. And he's not really had much play time for Cagliari. I've not really watched him this season much, but yeah, they haven't really got much power off the bench. Simeone can cause trouble off the bench. Cherry, he's one of the worst Serie A players I've ever seen, but his physicality can cause troubles. But yeah, man, don't see much threat coming in from Cagliari apart from that. Gianluca asks, do you miss Radja? I miss that guy. Do you know what I said? I don't miss him. I don't miss him because he kind of broke my heart. He was one of my favorite players. And he just, his off the field behavior, he never was professional. I don't miss that guy. We've seen the season at Cagliari. Last season I missed him because we saw how, last season he scored 6 goals and 7 assists, I believe. He was balling out at Cagliari last season. It almost looked like it was a bad move by Inter by loaning him out, really. because we had likes of Gagliardini and Borja Valero last year starting often. But this year, no, I do not miss him. We've seen at Cagliari, he doesn't look, in shape. He just looks slower. He doesn't look like he's still got the hunger to be a top player. I don't miss Radja, man. I don't miss Radja. But saying that, he's probably going to score tomorrow, another banger from outside the box. But I don't miss him. He's still one of my favorite players from this Serie A past decade. But at Inter, no, I do not miss that guy. Palm says Nandes might not play, which is good. Zappa may start for right wing back. Yeah, he's an interesting player. He doesn't look that great, but he's definitely more of a wing back than Nandes. So that's probably good news for Inter. Yeah, Gagliardini playing right centre mid worries me as well. He's not really a position that he's played in, and I don't see him combining well with Hakimi. Barella combines a little bit better with Hakimi. I don't see Gagliardini doing nice little through balls to Hakimi on the run, to be honest. That's why I hope maybe Sensi or Vecino, someone like that, can come in. Yeah, we know what the curse is. Ex-Inter players turning up against Inter. That's just how the way the world works. I think we shouldn't worry about other teams because I could not care less about who misses out in the Champions League. Yeah, I don't care who misses, who gets in the top four. But imagine Juve missing out on top four, missing out on that guaranteed, 40, 60 million you get from the Champions League. They will be in big trouble if they miss out on something as important as the Champions League. But as I said, I feel like they will finish second by the end of the season. Even if it is Pirlo, anyone, that squad is just too good not to make the top four. And it would be funny for us, to make fun of Milanisti if they don't make top four. But I feel like, for the better of Serie A, probably the two Milan clubs being in Champions League is probably for the best over Serie A. Just for the prestige of the Serie A. Yeah, so Lukaku should be, it'd be interesting to see Lukaku versus Godin, if all those training sessions, if Godin's learned anything or Lukaku just going to flame him, especially Rugani, man. If you kind of isolate, Rugani is similar to kind of Romagnoli. He doesn't have much strength or pace. So if Lukaku can get isolated against Rugani on the left-hand side, that is going to be trouble for Cagliari. And as I said, especially with a second goalkeeper playing, I want us to take some shots from distance. Eriksen, come on, bro. You need to score at least one goal this season. You can't end the season with 0 goals contribution apart from the Coppa Italia one. You need to get some assists or some goals. And I want to see Eriksen having some shots from distance. He's got that in his locker. We've seen he's got the stats to back him up. He has the most goals from outside the box in the past 5 or 6 years in the Premier League. So I want to see Eriksen take more risks, be more assertive in this Inter team. He's the certain starter now in the left centre mid position, but I want him to take that extra step now. He's paid. He's the highest paid player in the team alongside Lukaku. You have to. Okay, it's nice that he's controls the play, great technical ability, but we want to see that world class ability. You need to take it to the next step with the Eriksen. Oh, Milan are winning 2-0 now, I guess. Yeah. Just got to make sure we get the W as well. Asamoah was abducted by alien just to play for a relegation fighting team. Yeah, man. I'm all ears for possible Alex Jones related, possible conspiracy theories relating to Asamoah. Like, what happened to this guy? Like, this guy was Conte's guy. Conte used to love this guy at Juve, and he was always starting for Inter last season. And then at some point he had that injury, and we just never seen this guy. It just disappeared off the face of the earth. It's probably like a clone. It's probably like a Asamoah clone. Is it even the real Asamoah? Who will Conte sub in earlier, Sensi or Vecino? Well, we saw Sensi got the start, or Sensi came on earlier than Vecino last time around. And I think Sensi is the one that adds more. I think Vecino adds a little bit more, physically, defensively. But Sensi is the one that, will bring on to have a bit more creativeness, keep the ball a little bit more. And as we said, I want to see a little bit more in this match in terms of keeping the ball. I don't want to see us having. I know I said it depends on the opponent, but I don't want to see have us 29% possession against Cagliari because that that does get a little bit embarrassing. You can't be outplayed by a Cagliari in the relegation zone. You have to have at least 40+% possession, and then I'm fine with not having majority of possession. I don't care about having more possession, but you can't be just sitting back against the Cagliari team. I want to see us having, especially with the midfield of Eriksen, Brozovic, having technical players in midfield. You should be outplaying a midfield of Nainggolan, Duncan. You shouldn't be getting outplayed like that and by every single team. So I want to see a little bit more attacking wise this time around. I want to see more than we saw against Sassuolo. But again, I'm happy with the current, whatever works right now. The most important thing is getting that W. That's the most important thing. That W is the grail, the holy grail at the moment. Those 3 points. We don't care how it comes. As Conte said today, it doesn't matter how it comes. And also, I wanted to finish off the stream on how Conte, on Conte's press conference today. It was quite interesting today. It was only a 12-minute press conference, but I liked what he said today. They asked him, Arrigo Sacchi is saying that your style of play wouldn't work in Europe. And I was alluding to something similar in my previous live stream. I was saying that we'll have to, revisit our style of play when we go into Europe, but it doesn't matter. Let's look at that next season now, in preseason next year. It doesn't matter. And Conte said the exact same thing. He said, it doesn't matter. I'm thinking about the present. I'm thinking about now. Forget about, next year in Europe. We'll see about that when it comes. So I was happy to hear that. And then importantly, Conte becoming more and more Interista. He was saying how it was coming to Inter was like one of the most difficult decision he could make, because of his past at Juve, all this kind of stuff. He wasn't guaranteed, to be winning. This Inter team needed a lot of, investment and needed some time. It was a rebuild project. It's probably not was his, it wasn't probably his priority. He probably would have preferred to go to like a PSG or someone like that. But he took this on as a challenge because he's a very stubborn guy, as we know. We very well know as Inter fans now how stubborn he is. And yeah, he was just talking about how much, he's enjoying, this challenge. And if we see that, this guy, and now there's even talk of him renewing his contract, which would be great for him, in this economy, in this COVID period. It's probably the best for him to, secure himself a contract. No one's going to pay him what we're paying him. Next season is going to move on to 13.5 million net a year, which, no one's going to pay him in this economy. Even in the Premier League, you're going to struggle to find someone to pay him this much. So it makes sense for Inter. This team is built for him. Like this team, I don't think Conte's ever had a team that's so custom made for him. Like we literally gave him everything he needs. So it would be silly of him to leave Inter now, even though the investment for next year looks like there probably won't be much investment. Honestly, guys, I don't want to sell you guys dreams about Gosens, De Paul, all these kind of players. It doesn't look like we'll be able to invest as much as we want. It might be in the summer of being shrewd and trying to find deals that are available on the market, free transfers. Beppe, Marotta, and Auxilio will have their work cut out to find the right deals out there. We'll speak in the summer transfer news and who we want and who would be ideal. But realistically, guys, you should keep your expectations down for this summer. I don't see us with Suning's financial position, with the Chinese government not allowing Suning to pump capital into Inter. I don't see much investment in the transfer market unless we manage to sell someone big. But again, I feel like Suning would prefer to just keep the core of the team rather than sell. But yeah, those are just my opinions, and let's see what actually happens, man. Let's get a few more of your comments in, and whilst I do my prediction, I think our streak has to end at some point, but I think our streak will end against Napoli. I think Inter's winning streak will continue. I think we'll get a 3-1 victory. I think that Cagliari defense is just not good enough. Lautaro and Lukaku's form at the moment is absolutely crazy. I think Lukaku wants that capocannoniere. He's aiming to get to Ronaldo. Obviously, it's going to be difficult, but he's aiming to get there. I want him to get there. And I feel like, Lukaku goal, I think one of the midfielders will score. And I think we'll get a set piece goal from one of the defenders. 3-1 victory. Let me know your predictions in the comments before we finish this off. Get a few more comments in. Is it safe to start Sensi and Ericsson? It's Cagliari. Yeah, for me, I think it would be worth trying to start. I just want to see like a really technical midfield for once this season. Like I want to see a Sensi, Ericsson, Brozovic, or Barella, like that midget, super technical midfield before the end of the season. I want to see it. Like it's just so. I think it would be so good to watch, and it would just help us control the midfield a lot more. Yeah, Harry, let's get these 3 points, even if it's ugly. Yeah, I don't care how we get it. Yeah, agree. Right now, when we mathematically win the league, I want to see Hinter holding more of the ball. Yeah, and then when you've won the league, then you can start to experiment. That's when Conte can start playing. The likes of Pinamonti, Sensi, Vecino. When it's mathematically secure. That's what Juve did last year. We finished 1 point behind Juve last year, but that's because they mathematically already had won it a couple of match days ahead. So they just played the youth team in the last few matches and didn't really get results. So this is, if we win ahead, that's the time when you can start experimenting. But guys, as Conte said, we haven't won anything. Let's not talk about things that haven't happened yet. We still need to secure these W's and secure the Scudetto. Let's not start talking too much about the Scudetto yet. Yeah, man, that's going to be all of us, Harry, man. We're going to be all of us. I want to see that. You send us a picture on Twitter or Instagram, whatever. I want to see a picture of you in the bucket of blue paint and turn these zebras. That's going to go viral, bro. That is going to go viral. Oh, retweet the shit out of that if you do that. Oh, really? I haven't heard of that today, but yeah, that's how soon we're moving. But that's not really gonna change things in terms of transfer market. That alone is needed to just keep going in terms of paying the wages and salary, and the ongoing commitments that we have in terms of paying the transfer fees and things like that. We need someone else to come in that helps us actually use the capital. Harry says 3-0 tomorrow and 2-0 in one against Napoli. Wow, very, very confident. So you're saying 12 wins in a row. Wow, that is that's very positive of you. 3-0 Cagliari sempre Inter, Lukaku twice, Lautaro 1. Wow, everyone's very confident. I don't know. I feel like Cagliari are fighting for their life. I don't think it will be that easy. 3-0 win now. Biggie says. Wow, everyone is really. This is one of those times where Inter just let you down, and everyone's like really confident, and then Nainggolan and Godin get 1 goal each, and we end up 2-1 loss. Thank you now, Biggie, for the love. I deserve more subscribers and viewers. Yeah, it's a slow climb, if we're getting there. But as I always say, I don't really care how many people come here. I don't do this, to make money or get fandom. I'm just sharing my thoughts with you guys. It's a good fun. And yeah, always enjoy getting your views and thoughts on everything. Palm says 2-0 win or 2-1. Yeah, that's probably more realistic. I said 3-1, but realistically, I think it might be 2-1. It just Inter don't need to exert themselves. I just see Inter, after getting a couple of goals, they're just kind of, sitting back, saving their energy. Yeah. Nick Snock says we'll win by 2 goals. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, guys. We'll see. I'm really interested to see how we do it without Barella. I want to see how this team is how important is Barella. We'll see. We'll find out how important Barella is to this team tomorrow. But yeah, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm actually, it'll probably be another later post-match stream again tomorrow, because I'm actually playing football. I'll watch the first half again, I think, tomorrow, but I'm playing football. And then I'll watch the second half on a later time, and then give you a later reaction. As always, we'll do the live ratings together. So yeah, keep an eye out for my channel if you wanna join up on that. But yeah, as always, guys, if you haven't left a thumbs up, leave a thumbs up on the stream. Helps with the algorithm, all that Google stuff that helps out with the channel. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for the post-match reaction. Thanks for everyone who joined. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, everyone. And as always, guys, Forza Inter, and less mud Radja and Godin tomorrow. Ciao, ragazzi.